manufacturers. So those kind of discontinuities, they're not on the radar of all the above.
But when we go and cut a hole in the plasterboard, take it off and look at the back of it, there's mould on it.
But are you now suggesting that woofie really isn't that useful for that either? If you know that's fine.
You can use it for that. Sure, you can.
But they'll always say there's a danger of mould. So that's.
They won't always say no. What he's just saying there is, if it says all clear, it's all clear. If it says risk of mould, there may be a little risk of mould. The software has safety factors.
Well, that risk goes from 1% to 100%, so it's not that useful at all.
And it's contextual, isn't it? I mean, the sample you're taking, is it north facing? Are you taking a particular worst case, north facing
You choose the orientation in the software.
in the software? Okay, so you can
Yeah,
change
you
it
can-
and
you
check
can
the
see
risk
the-
increase.
yeah.
And exposure, height and
Yeah.
air tightness and most things.
I also did the test with insulation and without insulation when I did this 2D thing. And with insulation there was no problem because the wall is not getting
Cold to
cold.
Yeah, it's condensed.
So what we're addressing here is very new. Prior to what we're doing this, I don't think there were any simulation tools that could assess risk of mold. So they're basing their software tool on various PhDs that have been done that are considered doctors that are considered sufficiently robust, and they're trying to create simulation tools that reflect and interpolate and extrapolate from those points that are considered trustworthy. But sometimes the knowledge is only some of these documents. These theses might have been done 5 years ago.
We'll have to knock
first that looked at that subject, maybe.
We'll have to knock down a few buildings before we get it right.
No, but that's my whole point though, is if you have to do that, then in one sense woofie analysis isn't very useful. Maybe it's useful to say will be mold growth on the exterior face of the building, and that might be useful. Don't do this because you'll get mold growing on your wall.
Exterior?
Sorry, on the internal, the visible face of the internal surface.
No,
but what we really want to know is what's happening behind the insulation.
But in your case, if you have this little air gap,
And they're all there.
if you have no problem. If you enter that in woofie, you just use a little air gap. You see the moisture or you see the isoplast there, and if you feed that in woofie bio, you will get mold or you will get no mold, depending on the relative humidity in your gap, and that's close to reality. If the relative humidity is lower than maybe 80%, as Joseph showed you yesterday, then the broker will also show you no mold, because there probably is no mold. If the relative humidity is higher than in the gap, if it's 90%, 100%, then the model will show you more mold, and you probably have mold. So I think you can assess your problem with that, but the model is not thought to do that. I sometimes use it at the cold side as well, because for flat roofs, if you have the sheeting on the top, you often get some mold there if the conditions, if there's an OSB board on the top and it's moisture for a longer time during winter time, then you get mold there, and you can try to calculate it with that. But the model is not thought to use that for it, but you can do.
But I think the question is about forming a judgment based on the model.
Yeah.
Isn't that
in the perfect world?
The model is a simulation of reality. It's not reality, and it's how robust. It's the correlation between the two, and you're trying to form a judgment as a building designer. Let's say. You're trying to form a judgment.
Yeah, but if the model don't show you any mold, then there are no conditions for molding. Then there will be definitive no mold growth. If the model shows you mold in a position which is not used for it, which is not thought to be used, then you have to think: can there be mold? Can there be not mold? Behind the interior insulation, there's always mold. Yeah, we know that. So probably is the model right if it shows mold there.
I don't think we're being a bit confused.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. I mean, how's the model been correlated? And it's about, I know the reality is much more complicated, but has it been correlated?
We don't have many. We didn't have many cases in the last years.
It's a good PhD.
We've got hundreds of them all around the country. You can walk next door, next room, we'll have a case.
It's a good PhD.
Like, my question then is it ever possible to use internal wall insulation on an existing building without getting at least danger of mold behind the insulation?
Sorry, what Christian said before is
Yeah, for the thinner ones, it is possible. Because if you have only 2 centimeters or something like that, the wall still will get warmer, and so the humidity close to the gap is lower. Yes.
But you also make sure that you've stripped off the wallpaper glue, preferably if you can, the gypsum. You know the different isoplats, the different limb bows, the join those curves. You make sure that you're into the highest curve, not the middle curve, by preparing the wall. You might be putting on a wash which is an alkaline or bioacidic wash, which is available from lots of it, can be spray on or paint. Literally lime wash. I mean, there's all sorts of different things you can do to inhibit the mold and reduce the risk of mold, reducing the space so you're tightly bonding and you fully, grouted the surface, the bonding that you're applying. There's lots of different things you can do to make it less and less likely the mold will occur. I mean, obviously, air gaps, sealing and skirting, all those different things help.
And for the next point is we at the moment we have a really low database. We have this agar-agar for this model, but we are measuring many of the, or not many, but we have a biological or building biological group as well. They are doing tests about materials, and they are measuring this limb curves for different materials. And our plans is that we in future can give a list in Bufi Bio. You have maybe a gypsum board, and use for the special material you use the right isoblast. And I think if that's the case, the prediction will be much better. But at the moment, that's a mixture of some mold species which could it's called at the moment it's called the lowest isoblast of mold. So if it's below all the curves, no species will grow. But the different species and depending also it also depends on the substrate. So they will have very different growing behavior. So it would be good if we would have for the materials, if you maybe have a Papatex board, and if you have for that the limb curves, you could say on this board there will be growth or there will be no growth. But at the moment it's not possible yet.